talk to you about failure. And the title of my talk, which you'll hear several times throughout the speech, is Failure. Jimmy Wales is good at it. And you can chime in with me when I say that each time if you want to, because it's kind of amusing. So the point of the speech here is to first start by talking about Wikipedia. So the original vision for Wikipedia was for all of us to imagine a world in which every single person on the planet is given free access to the sum of all human knowledge. And that's what we're doing at Wikipedia. This has a lot of implications. Every single person on the planet means that we're inherently global. We're in over 200 languages. We're in every country of the world. Free access means something very special. It means not just it doesn't cost anything to access Wikipedia, but everything in Wikipedia is freely licensed. So you can copy it, modify it, redistribute it. It's really there as a commons for people to draw on and use in whatever way they would like. And this project has become an incredible success. We have now over 32 million articles across 287 languages, and we have over 500 million unique visitors every month. So Wikipedia has really become a part of the infrastructure of the world in a way that's really kind of amazing to contemplate and to think about. So here we are. How did I get here? A lot of times when people think about entrepreneurship, the model they have in their mind is really the model of someone like Mark Zuckerberg, who basically didn't have too many failures in his life. He had one good idea, executed incredibly well on it, and at a very young age became incredibly successful. But that actually isn't a very normal path, and it isn't a very useful model, I think, for people starting out into their careers or thinking about doing something innovative or entrepreneurial. The real key to understand is failure. Jimmy Wales is good at it. I went through a lot of different projects, and I'll take you through some of them today to give you a taste of what it's like to be an entrepreneur in the real world. So early in my career, I was working in Chicago. I was a futures and options trader after having done some graduate work in finance. And I was a really keen user of the internet. I could program. I was doing mathematical programming for my work. And I suddenly had this brilliant business idea, and I noticed that people were using very inefficient ways to get food at work. They would fax an order to a restaurant. They call them on the phone, which was always a bit confusing. You could send someone from the office to go and get food. And I realized, wow, the internet is perfect for this. You could put all the restaurants on the internet, you could order the food and have it delivered, and it would be much, much better. So what was the result? Failure. Jimmy Wales is good at it. In 1996, restaurant owners looked at me like I was from Mars. They had no idea what the internet was. They had barely heard of the web, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it was completely hopeless. The timing wasn't right. In fact, today, in Chicago, in New York, in London, in major cities everywhere, there's always a good online food ordering service that has exactly this. So it wasn't a stupid idea, but it was definitely at the wrong time. One of my next ideas was a site called 3 Apes. This was a search engine. I really still don't understand why this wasn't successful, because look at the slogan: type your search and the apes will find it. I mean, come on, it's genius. So the brilliant business idea here was pay-per-click advertising, but there would be 2 ways to pay. It was a very competitive landscape even back then in the late 90s. You could actually pay to advertise on the search engine, or you could send traffic to the search engine and earn credits, because I thought, well, this way, lots of webmasters, lots of bloggers and people will link to us to earn credits so that they can earn money, credits so they can advertise. I thought, well, this is going to be really great. What was the result? Failure. Jimmy Wales is good at it. Chinese spammers took over the site within 3 months. I was getting a lot of traffic and a lot of very strangely worded demands for money. It was quite clear on the website, if you read it in English, that you wouldn't get actual money, but just credits towards advertising. But the whole thing was sort of hopeless. It didn't really catch on, and I was getting a lot of angry Chinese people, so that wasn't very helpful. So the next concept I had, Newpedia. Here, the brilliant business idea, and this is the predecessor to Wikipedia, is a free encyclopedia for everyone, written by experts. And what was the result? Failure. Jimmy Wales is good at it. I spent about $250,000 getting the first 12 articles through the process. I always joke that I still keep them by my bedside and read them every night. I will get my money's worth someday. But basically what happened here, same vision as Wikipedia, a free encyclopedia for everyone, the same type of inspiration coming from the world of free software, open source software, but I really didn't know how to go about it. I thought I had hired a PhD in philosophy to help me organize it. He argued correctly, based on what we knew at the time, that it needed to be super academic in order to be successful. It needed to be super academic, or people wouldn't trust it, which is, of course, an echo of, sort of issues around Wikipedia today, which is people don't necessarily trust it. And so he was right, but in the end, he was wrong. I was wrong, because the system was so oppressive to the volunteers. It was really, really hard to get involved, and it wasn't. So then, as I was realizing that Nupedia was a failure, thinking about shutting it down, not sure what to do, then I had a really dumb idea. A free encyclopedia for everyone, but let anyone edit it. Have no advertising, no sane business plan of any kind. Result? Success. Even Jimmy can do it sometimes. Wikipedia, of course, despite having no sane business plan, being organized as a charity, just asking the users for money from time to time, has become an enormous success all around the world. We're now the #5 website in almost every jurisdiction around the world, and it's, of course, changed the face of knowledge forever. It had a really fundamental impact on society in the sense that the way we think about access to knowledge is very, very different. 30 or 40 years ago, you might hear something on the radio. You hear, oh dear, something terrible has happened at a magazine called Charlie Hebdo, which you've never heard of. And you think, oh, well, I don't know anything about that. And you might have thought, well, I should go look something up, but you didn't really have a way to do it. You just wait to see what came in the newspaper. Now you can easily go and read the entire history of Charlie Hebdo and all the cartoonists and all that, because you expect all that information should be there at your fingertips so that you can really get an understanding of what's going on in the news. So next concept I had, because I never stop, was Wikia Search. So this is a search engine. It got a lot of attention when I launched it. This is the cover of Fast Company magazine. It says that I'm Google's worst nightmare. Not really sure if that's true or not, but my mother bought 10 copies. So this project attracted an enormous amount of attention, had a really brilliant business idea. It was basically to build on the success of Wikipedia. We would have all open source software, so it would be incredibly transparent. With Google, you have no idea how they rank things. We were going to be completely transparent about it. We give full editorial control to the users, so you could add links, edit links, sort links, change the way the algorithm worked by submitting code. What was the result? Failure. Jimmy Wales is good at it. We had to close the project during the economic downturn. It was actually coming along quite nicely. We had spent, I don't remember exactly, but about $1 million probably with the initial software development to explore the idea. It looked very promising, but then we had the entire the recession, sort of the banking crisis, and there was a period of time when it was very obvious that venture capitalists were not going to be investing in anything for at least a few years, and we needed to raise more money to continue the project. So even though it was promising, external events, the economic downturn meant that the project had to be closed. So the encyclopedia was the start. But if you think about a library, it's much, much bigger. And this is the concept of Wikia. So the brilliant business idea of Wikia is to build on the Wikipedia model, but empower everyone to build the rest of the library. So it's every kind of book or work or whatever you want to do that is not in the traditional encyclopedia. If we think about this, the sort of the most popular sites at Wikia, which you might have run across, are typically in entertainment and gaming. So if you're into video gaming, you will have probably seen our Grand Theft Auto wiki or something like that. In entertainment, we have really huge fan websites about all of the major super complicated TV shows. So Game of Thrones, House of Cards, all these kind of TV shows, where the community of super fans comes together and they write things in incredible detail, episode guides, character analysis, speculative stuff about what's, theories about the show and things like that. And what's the result of Wikia? success. Even Jimmy can do it a second time. Wikia is now the 17th most popular website in the US.